What's up, everybody? This is Age Yin Gaming, bringing you a new Brutal Age video. This is on the new 5-star partner Yin. The event has started today, so you can get the new 5-star. It's going to be a 3 or 4 day event. Now, we were on the test servers plural, and using 2 instances, I figured that this might be something that a lot of people haven't seen before. So we have both instances side by side, and I'm trying to get the new partner so we can test it out. I got 5 total, and 2 of them I got from spinning the turtles. You get, if you spend 600 turtles, you get 1 free. So I got 2 of them that way. I got 3 by actually spinning the turtles, and it was over 1,000 turtles I spun. There were some guys that were getting that got 10 or 12 after the first 200 or 300. So I didn't have the best luck, but I did manage to land a couple of them. So many turtles. So I finally land on one, and I actually pause and let it sit there for a minute. I go get my wife and explain to her that I finally got one after 1,000, and I convinced her that I bought 1,000 turtles. One of my favorite pastimes. Once I got done freaking out, I told her the truth. I only bought 500. So anyway, what an experience that was. Test server. If you ever get far enough along the game that they ask you to use the test server, always go do that. That's a great experience. So going back to Yin, leader skill, plus 50 attack on all 3. But they are only affecting their own attributes, their own colors. So green only affects green. Legion skill is inspire, plus 50 morale. Inspire your army if they survive the partner attack. And also you can get a lot more buffs between the relationship between the partners and the troops in advanced research. Now there's several partners that you had to third awaken before they were really any good. Some of them became really famous after they were third awakened, like the Scarecrow, like the Tree Man. Like, not the green, but the other colors on the little flower. Yin's not really like that. Yin is going to be powerful the second you get her. I think it's a her. She'll probably be top 5, maybe even be number 1. As far as I think it's going to be green. So the third awaken isn't as major as some other third awakens are. They'll still have an impact, especially green. So red and blue, their second skill changes from a 35% chance to stun to a 70% chance to stun if poison is already on the enemy when the attack starts. And I'll explain that more when we get into the actual attacks. Third awaken is a little better. She'll go from clearing half of the enemy's action bar to all of it in a dragonfly clipper attack. And this is a good indication of what kind of strength that green is going to have, because she affects the action bar of not only the enemies but herself. So that reminds me a little bit of another partner, Green Prince. All 3 colors share this first skill, Shadow Blade. Shadow Blade, you deal damage to one enemy with a 60% chance to gain stealth for 1 turn. When stealth, the partner cannot be selected as a priority attack target by the enemy and will receive 60% dodge. Stealth ends once the damage is received. If dodge is successful, damage received will be reduced to 0 and the action bar restored. So pretty big. All 3 of them get this. It's just a single target attack. You see them. They really do a number on any partner that they restrain. But if you're attacking a non-restrained partner, at least at the lower levels, mine are at level 35, third awakened on a couple, and a couple are second awakened. So they're not really, 6-star, fully upgraded, everything, and the war patterns I have aren't really correct. I just wanted to show an example right away. So they do really well. They're a fast team. They don't have extremely high health, although I think you can get blue's health up pretty high. Blue and red share the second skill, so they all share this first skill. The second skill is Toxic Assault. Blue and red share it. Randomly attacks the enemy 5 times. It can be up to 5 enemies. Each attack has a 70% chance of turning one of the target's buffs into a poison debuff for the buff's remaining round. If the attacked target has a poison already, there's a 35% chance to stun the target for 1 round. And at third awakened, this is what we were talking about earlier. At third awakened, that chance will go from 35 to 70%. It doubles up. So not a huge increase on a third awakened. It will definitely help, and that will stun them for a round. Here you see blue restrains red, so it wasn't a real big thing, and it also deflected every single one of those hits, but she did like 200 or 300 damage. And you'll see at the end of the video when I suggest war patterns, it may not be the same suggestions you get from other players that do these types of things, but one of the reasons that I pick the war patterns I pick is because of the lack of damage that some of them will do. Now here we have Hood Haze. Hood Haze is the red Yin's biggest attack, the exclusive attack. It's a 6-phase attack, so it's pretty impressive. It's going to attack 2 enemies with the highest hit points, and it clears all of their buffs and all the poison debuffs. For each poison debuff that it clears, it will restore its own, I think AP means action bar, by 20% and health by 10%, and then it inflicts 2 rounds of sleep and applies stealth to the opponents for 2 rounds. And you can see who I'm fighting here. This is a pretty elite team of the Tusk and Cha-Cha and etc. So really good team. Now granted, I do have some other good partners in there with them, but just look at how these guys really just manhandle them. And as far as the sleep and the stealth, what they'll do is they'll put them asleep for 2 rounds, and to keep them undisturbed, they'll add stealth to it as well. So there'll be stealth and sleep. Now, if you happen to wake them up, they'll still have stealth. So it's kind of a disadvantage if that happens. But you have to be mindful and try to not to wake them up while they're inside the stealth. It doesn't last very long. I'm telling you, the Yin, they take care of business really fast. Gone, done, out. Elite team, over. Moving on to the Boomerang Hit, probably the best attack overall that all the Yin have. The Boomerang Hit randomly attacks 2 enemies. You're only going to see it hit 1 here. And it inflicts 1 boomerang mark on each target. Applies a stealth debuff on itself for 1 round after. The boomerang mark, what happens is, as soon as the boomerang is put on the enemy, then the next attack that they do, they will receive all of the damage that they dealt. So if it's a multiplayer attack that does huge damage to everyone, they get it all back combined on themselves. And I'll show you an example here. I think I mentioned this earlier. This is the Ian that we were fighting. Here's the Boomerang Hit right here. Does 2,000 damage, not a lot. But then he attacks, and he ends up doing 25,000 total team damage. He gets to 25,000 right back. I know that there's partners that do much more damage than that just in a normal attack. But that was not a... this just shows you exactly what you can expect from the Green Yin. That was just a normal attack from Ian. Just imagine what happens when they get a big attack off. I'm hoping the Clan Monster is going to prove that to me. If I get one on the Clan Monster with Yin, I'll definitely have a video up for it. I'm addicted to the Clan Monster videos. So here we have Blue Yin in Smokescreen. It will apply Smokescreen to itself and the ally partner other than itself. By itself, same type of partner. It applies a stealth buff in 2 rounds of a shield equal to 30% of the respected health for 3 rounds. If it is the only remaining partner left, then it will also apply invincibility and immunity, and you'll have to check on whether or not that means if you have a whole team of Yin, if that means the whole team gets that, or if it's just him if he's by himself. I believe another partner does the same thing. I think it is the guitarist, and I believe that she'll give all the guitarists the same thing, which is that Nirvana effect. Here we are on one of the final stages in Adventure, and this is the other account that I have in the test server. So we have 3 Yin, all 3 colors, and a Ghost that's level 38 or something like that. So they're not maxed out yet. I think one of their biggest strengths is that when they have a partner restrained, so when green attacks blue, they do a lot of damage. But one of their weaknesses is just the same as their strength. When green attacks red, it really hurts. I think the restraining system really has a big effect on the Amazing Yin. Now that may be because I don't have any of these guys at level 40. They're only at level 35. So that makes a big difference too, I think. And from level 35 to 40, that could mean the difference between doing 3,000 or 4,000 damage per hit or doing 8,000 to 10,000 per hit. So we'll have to see how well they do once they get up to that level there. At level 35, when they're 2nd and 3rd awakened, pretty strong. The next one is green, Dragonfly Cutter. He'll attack 2 enemies with the highest action bar. He'll inflict speed down on the targets for 2 turns, so they'll clear half of their action bar and receive a percentage of the action bar. This is a huge attack. This is a huge attack, kind of like the Green Prince. So, let's get into the war patterns. I know everyone wants to know what they are. And this is based on what I've seen, and I haven't really checked out what other people have said, so they may contradict, I may contradict them. Green needs to set Boomerang early, and Dragonfly Cutter affects the action bar with speed adjustments, so I'm thinking that she's a speed. Blue, she's going to be a protective partner, so most of your protection partners, your shielders or your healers, are high health. So I would use speed and high health with her. And finally, red, purely an attack partner, but because of the multiple hits, 2 out of the 3 attacks are multiple hits on the enemy. So to the stun health category. So as far as war patterns on green, I would use Cat and Wolf. Cat to get her speed up, and use speed on the left hand, critical rate on the head, attack on the right hand. Yeah, and Cat and Wolf, and that should try to maximize her. And as far as Blue goes, Cat and Owl. You could also use Corsac instead of Owl, because Owl's kind of hard to get sometimes. And speed on the left hand, health on the head and on the right hand, right arm. And finally, for Red, I have speed on her left hand. I put speed on the left on everyone, and for a reason. They're already really fast, so speed on them, and then attack percentage on the head and on the right hand. And the subs will be pretty important. So for green, for the subs, try to get critical rate damage, hit point, and more speed, especially down bottom. Down bottom, you really want to try to work on trying to get speed on all three of the patterns, and critical rate damage as well, because she'll have high critical rate if you put critical rate on her head, but she'll need the damage to go with it. As far as blue, attack, resistance, and health, that will help her. And red is critical rate damage, attack, and hit. So those are all the subs. And I also wanted to mention that you could put Sai on all three of these, and they'd be okay. You just have to get really perfect on the sub skills to get them to work out, to maximize what they're all about. And finally, the artifacts. Kind of tricky with the artifacts, but my general rule is, if the partner has over 20,000 health hit points, then I try to use the Brutal Seal as far as just the basic Brutal Seal or Brutal Horn. And if they're under 20,000 hit points, then I try to use the Brutal Horn. Normally the guys under 20,000 are the big attackers, the big damage, and the ones over, with a few exceptions, are usually your healers or your health guys. So and to add one of the elite artifacts for green, she'd go well with the Brutal Horn or the Bloodstained Tusk, which is Tusk Horn. And blue, the Brutal Seal or the Impervious Fortress, which is Rockwell's shield. And finally for red, the Brutal Horn or the Barbarian Machete. And as far as the masks that they get, the artifact that you get with her, give that to Tricky. That'll really upset everyone, make it even harder to hit them. So that's all three. I think they're going to be elite partners. I think you might get a little more out of green than the rest, maybe a lot more. So tell me what you think. Leave a message down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everyone for watching. It's been easy. Take care, everyone.